Hey everybody, I haven't posted anything in a long time, but just got these bulletproof off-road adapters for my truck. It's a 2020 GMC Sierra 1500 AT4. I put the ReadyLift SST leveling kit and the, I think, 1.5-inch blocks in the back to kind of give it a 2-inch lift over the stock lift that the AT4s come with, and then level it out as well. But I needed to get some clearance between the tire and the ball joint knuckle there on the upper control arm, because it was pretty tight. It was less than a 1/4 inch. You can stick your finger between the ball joint and the tire. And I've ordered some tires today, or earlier this week, and I'm gonna get some 295/65 R20s put on stock rims. And I just needed to space those out a little bit. These bulletproof off-road adapters here, made by, I think, Mototech. I'll link it in the description. But these are 1.25 inch adapters. I wanted the smallest adapter I could get to give me that clearance, give me just a little bit of poke out of the wheel wells there. And I didn't want to trim my stock studs, so I measured everything, the pockets on the back side of the wheels, extensively. I think had about 4 millimeters of clearance, which is pretty tight. But I put some paint on those lug studs, on the stock ones, put everything together, took everything back apart. None of the paint was disturbed, so I'm confident that there's no interference there. So I've got 3 of these installed. I'm going to walk you through the last one here and show you some before and after pictures. Maybe that's something you would want to do for your truck if you want to keep the stock rims, get a little bit of clearance, and a little better look, a little more aggressive look. Before we start here, I want to show you that clearance on this ReadyLift SST upper control arm here that you have to install on the lift, and then the rear of the tire here. So you can see, here's my index finger there. I can't get it between there, so very, very little clearance. If you're running stock tires, you'll probably be just fine. If not, you'll probably want to go with a different offset wheel, or these spacers. All right, so we got the wheel off, and you'll notice that these stock studs are about 1.75, 1.75 inches long. And of course our spacer has a thickness of 1.25 inches, which means we'll have a 1/2 inch of stud sticking out here, right? So this stud, this whole adapter assembly gets mounted on with these hardware that's included with the kit, and then this is what actually mounts your wheel to the hub assembly now, with your stock lug nuts. Now, to accommodate this amount of protrusion here, you're going to need to have some clearance on your stock wheels. I measured this extensively, and then, like I said, the first one I did, I put some paint right here, some wet paint on all of them, and then put the wheel on there, and then took the wheel off to make sure that none of the paint was disturbed, or none of the paint transferred over to the wheel, just to make sure I had enough clearance, and there was no problem there. So I'll show you on the back side of the wheel here. You'll see these pockets, and these pockets are just deep enough to accommodate that protrusion from the stock studs, and then give about 4 or 5 millimeters of additional clearance with those 1.25 inch adapters. Now, if you're going with a larger adapter, like say a 1.5, you're not going to have a problem at all. You're just going to make sure that you get enough thread here to get your lugs on there securely, so that your spacer gets mounted securely. All right, so this is the nut, the lug nut that attaches the spacer to the hub, and then this, of course, is your stock lug nut that's going to hold your wheel onto the spacer, which is all held onto the hub. There's a lot of differing opinions about spacers out there. I'm going to give them a try and see what happens. If there's any kind of vibration or any weirdness, I'm just going to go with a different wheel. I just really like the way the stock GMC wheels looked, and if I didn't, I would just get some other wheels. But something else I wanted to show you. These spacers are hub centric, which is very important. So they're machined very, very tight, to very tight tolerances, with the hub being the center of the wheel, obviously. So there's a little bit of ridge that comes out from the hub, and then that spacer rides on that ridge as well as on the 6 lug nuts or lug studs. So I want to show you that real quick, because if it's not hub centric, then you might get some wobble and you might get some play in there, and you don't want any of that when you're going, you know, 80 miles an hour down the highway. So this is what I'm talking about. This is your hub, obviously, and this little ridge here, this is machined precisely to ride on that ridge there. So there's no, you know, side to side, or if one of these studs come loose or a lug comes loose there, you still are riding on that ridge there as added support. So you can see there, it's no wobble at all. And once I get these torqued down to 140 foot-pounds, it's absolutely in there. So first I'm going to start these by hand. I got 5 of them started here. Here's the 6th one, right? Give them a couple of good threads on there. Then you're going to take what I'm doing is I've got just a small little weak impact gun, but I'm not impacting anything. I'm just going down till it stops, right? Very slowly in a star pattern, just like you would torque anything, right? A star pattern. There we go. All right, now everything's pretty much seated. From there, I'm going to grab my torque wrench, and I'm going to start torquing from here in the star pattern, 140 foot-pounds, all the way around until we're even on everything. And then I'll install the wheel, and we'll be good to go. I did want to mention that having that spare piece of wood that you've had in your garage for, you know, years will come in handy with this, because if you don't have a friend to hold down the brakes while you're trying to torque, especially the front wheel, you're going to need to place a 2x4 right there so you can seat that on there while you torque this, or otherwise the whole thing is going to turn. All right, that spacer is installed and torqued down, and now we're just going to install our wheel like we normally would any other time. All right, here's the finished product. I'll get some tires on here, hopefully in like a day or two, and I'll post another short video of how it looks with everything. I'm sure I'm gonna have to do some trimming. These stock ones are 275/60s, and I'm going up to 295/65, so basically from almost a 33 to a 35. Like I said, I got the ReadyLift that's ST on there, but I'm probably going to have to trim a little bit right here. I've already taken the mud flaps off front and back here. I got this kit here from I'm not sure what the brand is. I'll link it in the description, but it's a trim kit to kind of eliminate those unsightly mud guards. You might like them, I don't. Anyway, it's a pretty straightforward job. I'm pleased with the results. I'm glad that I measured correctly. So make sure you're doing all your measurements. Make sure you're using torque wrenches. If you don't have one, just go borrow one from O'Reilly's or AutoZone or whatever. They'll just rent it to you for free. And then make sure you're checking your torque specs and all that, and you have jack stands, all the safety stuff, right? But particularly make sure that you're using all the right torque specs on this job, because if you don't, you can get the wobbles and you can get some pretty dangerous stuff going on. So let's get back from the test drive. No weird sounds, no rattling or wobbling or anything like that. So we're good to go. One last thing I wanted to show you was the clearance now between the ball joint and the back of that tire. Like I said, I'm going 295/65, so they're about an inch wider, which would protrude a 1/2 inch, obviously, into the inside and 1/2 inch outside. So I really needed to get that clearance. As you can see, there's plenty of clearance now. I'm getting a whole hand in there and wobble around. So you can go wider for sure. And it's looking pretty good. Definitely look better when I get these bald tires up here. All right, I'll post a follow-up video when I get those tires mounted on there. And I'm hoping to post some more videos, some projects I've been doing to this Triumph Thruxton Final Edition 2025 there. Made a custom undertail for it from scratch. Maybe I'll post something about that. I'd like to get more videos going there. Hey, God bless you guys. And Thanks for watching. Have a good day.